All right, you got a booker and a striker and a guest.
Josh Homme, Joshua, Queens of the Stone Age. Great to see you.
It's funny, like Booker and a striker. It's like you book somebody and then they go on strike and they don't show up. You know, it's like,
We see it as more like a bad cop show. You know, it sounds like something CBS Friday night, 9 o'clock.
who slides over the hood? Which one of you?
I'm the hood slider.
skinnier.
It's like a combination of Starsky and Hutch meets
Bo and Luke
Dukes of
Duke,
Hazzard
yeah.
without. Yeah. I mean, both cars are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Which car do you like better of those two shows?
He likes the General Lee.
No, I think I would take the General Lee if I'm honest. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a more quality vehicle. That.
He's a muscle car guy. I could
know.
sit and talk cars with
Yeah.
him all day
Yeah.
long. And you've had the same car for
Since I was
eons.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, he drove it around in like Palm Springs and Palm
Yeah.
Desert and
Yeah.
everything, right?
Yeah, I drove to high school and that thing. I still got it.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So we both watched and loved Alive in the Catacombs.
Thank you.
It is amazingly well produced and shot and lit, and the sound is fantastic. But the Catacombs, can you just explain for everybody exactly what it is and how it ended up on your radar, why you love it?
Well, it was a coal mine underneath Paris. It goes for, 200 plus miles, and somewhere in the 1700s, the overflow of deceased French it was overloading the cemeteries, and so they slowly took the painstaking process of relocating 6 million bodies, and the interesting thing is that it would be easy to sort of say how goth it is, and say that I know there's a lot of French people that think it's cursed and things like that, but it's not, because it's you don't relocate 6 million people and stack their bones, in this respectful, ornamental style. There's sculptures and things in there, unless you're kind of doing it with love and reverence. So it's a very organic, magical place,
Then why or what led you, however many years ago it was, and how many was it that you said, I think I'd like to play some songs in these tunnels here?
And I mean, I think when I first saw it in a book when I was 8 or 9, I was like, I'll go there someday. And then flash forward to about somewhere like 18, 20 years ago, on a day off in Paris, I attempted to go to the Catacombs, but the line was like 3.5 hours long. And so I asked a very spoiled and entitled question, like, how do I skip the line here?
Don't you know who I am?
Yes.
No, I never said that. I was like, do I know who I am? And
They have a fast pass, don't they, there?
Yeah.
well, but it was like,
pass.
it's funny how it starts with something kind of shitty like that, and then it moves into, oh, it would be great to play here, And I think the luxury of being in a band is you get to ask you see a beautiful location, and I think, oh wow, we should probably try to play there. I tried to play a volcanic vent once too in Iceland. I just stupidly,
Was it something when you were down there that, because I got to think as a singer, you're always somewhere looking, or you're like, ooh, this room sounds good. Was it a thing when you spoke and said, wow, sounds pretty cool in here?
Well, the thing is, I didn't make it in that day. I didn't wait in that line, and I thought I won't go in there until we play.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I didn't actually go inside until, and I've seen countless videos. I've read all these books about it, but you don't really. It's one of those things you don't understand till you go inside, and so I just sort of swore off going in there until I said I will wait till this happens. And every couple of years we would gain a little momentum, and then it would go away, and I just thought, oh, I'm gonna keep going. A girl can dream. So I was like, there's no reason for me to give up, even though we hit a dead end. I thought, why give up? It just seems like a cool project, like a pet project,
So it sounds like, though, it's not just like, hey, fill out a piece of paper and in 2 years you can get in.
It is not like that at all.
Okay.
No, I mean, no one's ever legally played there.
Oh, wow.
There's stories about, raves, and I know the authorities came in one time and there was a fully set up dinner table with a bar and a movie screen in there, and then the authorities came back the next day and it was all gone, and there was a note that said, don't try to find us. So I know that, and there's cataphiles who search the thing and film it, and people have gotten lost in there, and so there's of course this long storied history there. We're just the first people to ever legally do it, and it really ends up coming down to a guy named Stéphane Saunière, who's there was a show called Album of the Week, and you just play your album on telly. And it was long running.
Cool. Love
But
that.
he kind of knew, he had enough connections. It's kind of a bureaucratic nightmare a bit in France. The government is like, so there's a lot of runaround, and he just played Cupid and solved that problem for us finally.
Was there ever a feeling when you went down there, because there is a lot of history and a lot of old souls, if you will, and bodies and millions of people down there. Did you ever have a feeling of going down there like, maybe this wasn't a good idea, or is
No.
that dream fully imagined, we're doing this?
No, if I'm honest, I feel like this is the most succinct thing we've ever done because we went down there with nothing but respect and sort of reverence for the place. And you start asking strange existential questions like, it's just like, what would I want to hear if I was stuck here? And so it helped our song selection and things like that. We ended up playing stuff that was like, stuff that was more introspective and more about family and longing and acceptance and overcoming tough stuff. And so every step along the way really helped to sort of figure out how to do it. And you can't plug anything in.
Right.
So although I never imagined playing loud in there, that feels bizarre to me. And we never thought about like playing the hits or something either, because that felt that it quickly became, it's not about us. Once you go in there, that space is so dominating that the real sort of star of the show is that place.
Right.
And you feel it. It felt very much like we should sort of get on our knees and put your head down and say, I promise to do a good job. It's like, it has that sort of weight in there,
Josh, how easy or difficult was it to figure out within your band and the 3 stringed instrument players you brought in, like who's going to stand where to make this sound the best? Was that hours and hours and hours of figuring that out? And where are you going to stand when you sing? Like that just seems, as an outsider, it could be complicated.
Yeah.
No, it's the opposite. It's a lot like whatever plans. It became clear even before we went in there. Whatever plans you make, as soon as you descend the stair, it won't matter. So it's part of why we chose the director and the production team there too. They're not only because they were French and it required that sort of French hand to do this, but also we wanted someone we could collaborate with in the moment, because you go down there and because nothing's plugged in, it's all battery powered. So I'm wearing a battery-powered mic like a TV show or something, right? But then you start saying, so I can go anywhere. So I can move around. I'm not chained to a wire. And because you're not chained to a wire, it's like there was a freedom. And once we got in there, it was more improv, like moving at the speed of inspiration, because you say, okay, we could do this here, and then the director Tomas is going, yeah, and I could come through here, and maybe we'll set up here, and and I like working like that because you have to let go. You're not in control, and you're not overthinking it.
Right.
Those things are better to me.
So did you have to find a sound in there? Like, were there some places you walked in and you said, no, this isn't conducive for what needs to come out of me, or you just more were worried about the shot?
No, however it sounds is fine.
Okay.
That was
okay.
that was our take, was like, the ceiling is dripping in many of the areas there. It's very much like a living place. A lot of shows you're playing and I'm facing the audience, they're facing me, and it's very just back and forth. But this was like being inside the belly of something, but we're deep inside this thing. And we made this kind of agreement right away. Nothing is cavernous sounding like cathedral-like. The air is wet. It's dense in there. You're walking on gravel. It's crunching around it. And so we were like, we'll record it as it lay. However it sounds is going to be fine. And so it's, some of the songs were so quiet and stripped back that the ceiling dripping and the cameraman walking on this gravel is in the soundtrack of this. And I think those things are okay. At one point it was like, we have a program that can take out the steps of the cameraman. It was like, for what? I don't think that anyone's going to say, you had me until I heard someone walking around and then fuck
that
this,
gravel just took me out of it.
But instead of doing that, admitting the reality of it and saying, no, this is actually what it is. And you're hearing, take 3 of 4, take 2 of 3, take 1 of 2, take 2 of 2, and then take 3 of 4. So we didn't overplay, we didn't over rehearse. We just, there are mistakes. There are moments when we almost get off of each other for a sec, but I think, I want it to be real like that. So I don't see those. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be classic.
Right. Imperfect art's the best art. Also.
Yeah, it's like people are.
Right.
I think there's a notion about correcting everything that can get a bit addictive in the modern way, but I think that sterilizes everything. Nobody's perfect, so why pretend to be one?
Right.
And I'm not that interested in that. So none of that mattered.
Mikey Shoes, in the behind the scenes piece that I watched of the whole filming, really was making me tear up as a result of him talking about you and the health struggles that you were going through leading up to that.
Yeah.
So I guess my double question is, how do you feel right now from a year ago or so, and what got you through that time to film and sing and get it done? Because it looked tough, and you looked sad, but you also looked very determined.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sad. I think what's interesting is that place, because it's so dominating, and because it felt like we're there to serve the place, and I think that it's not depressing or sad, but it's not happy either. It's just intense. And I think the fact that I was having some health struggle, I feel great.
Okay, good.
And I was told, that I would be out of commission for a while, and I'm not. And so I'm thankful. So, and I think the fact that I was dealing with some serious health things, at the end of the day, it actually makes it better. It's better because things that are good are not simple, and also the pain side of that, the physical side of that, is momentary because I never think about that anymore, and I don't. And even in the moment, it's like, so what? So it hurts. So what? To miss. I wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
I've been working on it so long,
Right.
and we're so close, and I'm gonna turn and I'm gonna quit because it hurt. It's like I just don't. What would I do then if I quit? What am I supposed to do? Get up in the morning and fucking make coffee, and what do I do?
Right.
And I think it doesn't always come up that you get to show what you're made of and who are you? What are you willing to do? And so I do think that it makes it more intense, and it makes it worth it, And I know that there's people that care about you and things it's wonderful to have them say we shouldn't do this and we should go. And I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm just sort of no, we're here.
Yeah.
And I like moments where it's are you going to fucking do it or not? No more talking.
Yeah.
It's very much shut up and fuck me.
Right.
Yeah. Are you going to do it or not? And I think those moments are actually, sometimes I long for moments like that where it's are you going to do it or not? I just think they're important,
When we get older, and we're all getting older, thankfully, it means we're still here, we really are more cognizant of our mortality. Yeah. And, for me, I don't know why, and I can only speak for myself, but the idea of going underground to a space that's cavernous and small and shrinking would take a little bit of the air out of me.
Yeah.
And I hear the determination in you.
Yeah.
So maybe that wasn't a thing or thought that could happen to you, that fear of space and being so far underground,
Yeah.
it didn't overtake you at any point?
I'm a little claustrophobic.
I am, for sure. Big time.
So, but again, it's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, sorry, I can't do it.
Right.
You know, I think it's okay that things are difficult sometimes. And it's okay that, like, I had a number of moments where I just was like, I'll be back in a minute. I have to just like walk off, and but also I enjoyed being there, you know, and I think it's okay those things exist at once, and I I think the main part of this isn't if I was ill or not feeling well or not. It's that there's this moment that's up for grabs, and it's kind of like I've been dreaming about this. It's been a dream of mine for years, and it actually is like I'm thankful that I was not well, because I learned so much. We came together, we got closer because of it, and we did. It had strange benefits. Like, we just agreed because it was just this type of environment. Let's not say anything. He'll say action, and we'll just sit there for 30 seconds. And you're listening to the ceiling drip, and you're looking at everybody, I just remember thinking, like, I'm gonna fucking do this. This is the moment.
Nice.
You know? And I think I wasn't thinking about anything else. There was nothing else. And that moment of being present is a good moment. So I'm glad to have moments like that, because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that.
Right.
You know?
Alive in the Catacombs. You got to watch it. It is awesome. When we listen to Queens of the Stone Age, and we do a lot, and I'm listening to like Better Living Through Chemistry or The Lost Art of Keeping a Secret, whatever. The songs sound like they came out a week ago. When you listen to your music, and I don't know if this is easy to answer or not, like what are you most proud of with your catalog? Not individual songs, but just the overall package of songs.
Well, I mean, I don't, you know, I wouldn't change anything. I think I wouldn't change all my mistakes and fuck ups too. That's the only way for me to get anywhere, you know. So we just were rehearsing, and I had to listen to a couple things just to figure out, like, what the. And,
Really?
Yeah. It's been a year without really doing much, and I don't know. But I was like, oh, it sounds okay. It's, you know, I do think that we're a band that definitely, when we make something, you empty the tank, and we don't, you know, I don't reckon we're overthinkers or something like that. It's just it feels good to have something that you can give yourself to completely, and then you're exhausted, and you're like, you know, like Austin Powers, you're like, I'm spent. and so I think in making things that way, we don't stop till we really love it, and that helps it to, like, age well in my own mind.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, those are big moments in our lives, and so I'm not interested in, like, glossing them over or rewriting them, or I'm just like, I'm glad those happened.
Yeah. I think as fans, the best way to put it that I could say as a fan is, I'm so happy that you were just a meat and potatoes rock band back then, and you never over-tinkered, never overproduced, never over-layered, because when you listen to it today, and everything else is so, I don't know, crunchy or something.
Yeah.
Trying to be too perfect, maybe.
Something, I don't know what it is, but like the music still holds up. It's incredible how well, it may be even better.
Yeah.
I don't even know if, you know, we were young men, we were doing our own things on the radio and trying to, you know, gain our own star and whatever. Sometimes we didn't really pay as close attention to the art as maybe we should have even.
Yeah.
And we were super fans.
Right.
Now I look back, I'm like, oh my God.
Holy shit, it
that
was
stuff
right there in front of
fucking
our
great.
eyes. That's Hall of Fame status.
Yeah, it was really great stuff. So thanks
appreciate
for the music. It's always
appreciate
been
that.
such great
And the
stuff.
good shows.
I appreciate that. I think that it comes from I like things a little more raw. I like them a little underproduced. That's why if you listen to Creedence Clearwater Revival, you're like, sounds great. And so I think those things that are more natural, and again, just, it's nice to have a plan because that gives you the chance to let go and not be in control.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know a little bit, we have enough of a plan where I'm going to take a leap. But I think obsessing, there's a difference between giving all you've got and sort of obsessing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think not knowing when to stop touching it is not a good thing, kids. No matter what it is, you've got to know when to stop touching it. I think it's more important to understand when to let it be, and because then it's got a better chance of just sound wise, not sounding so dated.
Well, you had your own studio. I only know that because I was in it, and I would think having that at your disposal would make you almost want to over tinker because it's there and it's yours and it's your space and it's almost like an office. You go there to work every day, and yet you never did. You always bring other people in and they record their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to do something that I just think is cool.
Yeah,
and that isn't something that's super labored over.
Yeah,
and I think if something sounds, you can always, if you're painting, you can always keep painting. When do you stop? And I think when something sounds cool, I feel comfortable saying, like, that's enough of that.
Yeah, you've always had a good sense of that.
Yeah, because again, the goal isn't to make something perfect. Let's just make something cool. And and it's nice to get onto the next thing, But if you just eventually you dry hump something to death and you've just crushed it, it's not a good look.
And very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Remember that, kids.
Yeah.
Another one.
Listen, a lot of tips for the kids today on
tips,
the Booker
giggity,
and
all
Stryker
right.
Josh interview with Just the
Welcome
Tips.
to Kid Tips.
Welcome to Just the Tips.
Josh, you mentioned the rehearsals going on. How important is it for you personally to make a new song or 20 songs in the next 1 month, 10 months, 2 years? Like, is it important for you to constantly create, or is rehearsing itch the scratch for you? Or scratch
No,
the itch?
I like to make stuff. I think that's where you can, improve your life and leave baggage behind and figure out a way to play what's hard to say. And so I like to make stuff, and touring is fun too. It's just not quite the same experience as what creating something which was not there is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have ideas floating around right now? Do you sing into a phone? Do you write stuff down? Do you hear phrases? Like, is it different for you in 2025 than 8, 10, 15, 20 years ago?
No, I think it's important to be able to, whenever, this is all a bit like catching smoke. It goes away if you don't try to capture something. So I think, you whenever an idea comes, you try to get a piece of that down, and then, from there you take all these little pieces and you start quilting.
Right.
Kids, you start quilting.
Let's go back to childhood since we keep bringing up the kids. When did you know you could sing? Or when did you know that you had found your voice to sing is maybe a better question.
Well, not till I was been playing for many years.
Yeah.
I was for my first band Caius, I didn't sing, and then I was in the Screaming Trees for a little bit, and there was no way I would. Mark Lanigan was the singer, so that's a definite shut.
But as a kid,
moment.
did you sing in school? Did you have any interest in singing, not just the musical?
I tapped on things,
Really?
and I heard music in my head,
Huh.
and I thought that's what everyone did. I did a lot of life soundtracking, like you're walking down the street at a tempo, and you're like, boom, boom, boom. It's just, and that just always felt natural, and so I think that's why I think of making music as chasing it, because you're always chasing the sounds in your head, and I'm sure now there would be a diagnosis for that, but I don't give a fuck about that.
Right. On that note,
kids,
we should wrap it up.
Kids, remember not to give a fuck about that.
And don't manipulate it in public.
We're going to radio hell. This is
No, that's called. I think you mean Hall of
We're
Fame.
in,
Hall of
we're
Fame,
in
never-
radio hell. right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
been there
Sorry,
our
we dragged you there.
entire life. Josh,
Josh
your
Homme.
your career has been astounding, and it's
Yes.
awesome that you're now a
that.
filmmaker. You can add that to your resume.
Yes. Well, look out, kids. This resume is going to knock you down.
Thank you for joining us, and we really appreciate you. And as Booker said, and
Yeah.
hopefully you got it. We're grateful for the music and the shows over the years.
I appreciate that. Thank you
Definitely.
for saying.
Thank you, of course.
Cool.
Bye, kids.
See you guys.